All right, local swell trackers, it is Wednesday the 20th. We're going back a week, Wednesday the 13th, showing you the Tasman Sea source for our upcoming swell. It did register on the buoys today, Wednesday, earlier at 18 seconds. It will level off for an average of 15 to 16. This is the guy right here. We'll start in the models, and you can see how it really fills up the Tasman Sea and moves up quite near to the islands for Hawaii, increasing our odds of getting some decent swell from this guy. And we are expecting 2 to 3 plus out of this, slowly filling in on Thursday. But again, that had a very nice fetch. It was very long. And then it did get out to the east coast of New Zealand and had some stronger winds to it. So longer periods will be pumping up waves again on Sunday, Monday. And we're rocking and rolling even into June. And I'll get to the long-range models. But we'll run through these loops one more time and show you just a ton of swell. Check that guy out. Very powerful. That's the one that's going to be coming up next week, peaking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 5 feet. And it'll be a really long period, 20-second forerunners from this guy right here. So I said, let me roll through these loops from Storm Surf again. Thank you, Mark. And here we go. Tasman Sea source right here, building us up for the local motion surf in the summer. The second it gets out here with a pulse. And then the last pulse for next week. So we got pulse over the weekend. We got pulse for next week. There's like 6 mapping events here from all of these various sources. And even this guy under Tahiti and even a southeast source down here off to our southeast, all adding to the mix. Let's bring the models current. Again, the Tasman Sea source, those were a week old. Now we are current. This is the same storm that moved out to the east of New Zealand, now under French Polynesia or under Tahiti, allowing a swell to continue for next Wednesday, the 27th, 28th, and 29th, bringing up some 2 to 4 foot swell from this guy. We'll start in the animations and take a look at it. Nothing big, but what is going to be big is this guy right here. Check that out. We are looking at 40-foot seas from this storm. It's the biggest one we've seen so far. This is Monday, the 25th. We got to allow about 6 to 7 days for this guy, but we do expect that this source will be peaking out early June at up near 5 or 6 feet for the top spots that we generally don't mention. Most spots will be solid 5 feet, but we will see isolated 6-foot sets early June from this. Finishing off the animations, very powerful, very long lasting, a little bit of follow up here, but nothing significant. So source number 1, 2, and 3, this will have several phases because the storm built over several days before fading off to the east. Now let's jump up to the North Pack. We've been seeing some small but fun west-northwest and northwest swells. This guy's the culprit going back Friday the 15th. And we saw some waves get up solid 4 feet. We get 2 sources. This is the guy bringing us up our waves for Tuesday, Wednesday right here. And it's already fading. And I'm sure you're seeing Typhoon Dolphin became a super typhoon category 5, but then weakened, recurved, went from tropical to extratropical, warm core to cold core, and is swinging around, in fact, and should be bringing us up some west-northwest swell on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the upcoming week, and should hit about 3 feet. A lot of it is in this shadow window of Niihau and Kauai. This guy will be from about 270 to about 295, 300. We get shadowed anywhere 295 and west of that. But take a look. We're still doing very well for the North Pack, especially this time of year. And you add in the tropical systems, which we average about 25 every year. That's why Taiwan and Japan can often crank out on these guys if they stay off the coast. Now bringing the models current. Today, Wednesday the 20th. Here's former Typhoon Dolphin. Now an extratropical system off of Japan. That will begin bringing us in some west swell, long-lasting swell. It tries to recurve, but we're not going to see a whole lot from that. See a little bit of 2-foot background swell from this. And this guy right here, a very weak, broad low, fairly near to the islands. Models tend to run hot on these. Right now, it's calling for 6 feet 14 seconds on the 30th, which is a Saturday. If you want to mark your calendars, I'll run through the models one more time. Dolphin bringing us in plenty waves as she dissipates in about 5 days, a series of small waves. But take a look at this guy. It comes close to us, crossing the date line, Wednesday the 27th. It is almost dissipated by that time. The winds are weak, but models are still claiming some 6 feet 14 seconds, which I'm going to go ahead and downgrade and say that's running hot, and likely we'll see some 3 to 4, maybe 5-foot waves on Saturday the 30th. and it should last into Sunday in that overhead range. When you look at the calendar, that's really good. All right, let's take a look at the surface charts, hand-drawn. There's the high pressures over here. The ridge is being degraded by that front that's moving, that low pressure, the cause of it all. The high is weakening, being pushed off to the east. The ridge is going to be over the islands on Thursday. Winds are already switching here on this Wednesday afternoon to light. It's super cloudy for Kauai and Oahu. We will see winds veer to the southeast. We will see a sea breeze pattern at least through Saturday. The frontal passage should be out of here by the late over the weekend. It hits Kauai on Friday, this front right here with the blue line moving our way. There's a weaker high moving into the picture, allowing trades to return, especially from the northeast Sunday. And trades will not be fresh-paced next week because this high pressure is a little bit weaker, and we do have plenty storm activity out there. So we are into a regime change as I record this, and it will last at least through Saturday. Northeasterly winds light on Saturday, right as the swell are getting here. It's going to be blowing straight offshore light. The morning hours should be epic. For Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday are just going to be epic, period. And now the jet stream, you can see the northern branch dipping right on top of us. That is bringing this weather. That is bringing the front. It is supporting the swells that we've been seeing as well, though. So that's good news. Down under the northern branch has been dominant, and that is going to change. The high pressures of the blue areas, but the lows down here go clockwise and allow that northern branch to help feed the fetches that do come up the east coast. And we'll keep you posted on that. Starting in the animations, you can see that dip stays on top of us, cutting off the trades for a couple days. The jet stays below the Aleutians for this time of year. That's fantastic. It does have some reds in it. It's still dropping. We should still see some. Well, the North Shore's not going flat anytime soon. In fact, as I was pointing out, we have a swell at the end of May. That last weekend looking good. Again, the northern branch dominant. We do have some meridional or equatorial bound flows right here, sending up those swells we were talking about. The fetches looping around the blue area. These are the upper regions showing features 30,000 feet up. Large-scale winds that support the formation of our storms, and once they do form, they help steer them our way. And that's why we like those equatorial bound flows in the jet. Now we go from the jet stream dropping down about 10,000 feet to features 20,000 feet up, or the water vapor loops cover. And you can see we're actually in a brown region of stable air, so it's fairly dry. Now all of this down here is the intertropical convergence zone in the jet below us, not affecting our weather. There comes the front from the upper regions all the way down to the surface, although it is a weak front and will not be increasing our rain or winds much at all. In fact, it's just shutting off the trade wind pattern by pushing the highs off to the east and weakening them. Taking a look at the infrared loops, you can see those wisps from the upper regions that I was showing you in the water vapor loops. And down further, we have the clumps of broken to overcast cloudiness for Kauai and Oahu. Here's a different view of it, the intertropical convergence zone, the front moving down, and that north pack with storminess and thus waves within it. The reflective loops showing quite a bit of rain off the leeward coast here this afternoon, and off the leeward coast off of the southeast islands as well. Not the best of weather today, but all in all, as I said, a weak front. Highs are going to be about 80, lows about 70 degrees, and we'll drill down here a little bit further. It's easier to see those clouds, especially over Oahu here late this afternoon, and those could get out of here in the evening. We'll have to wait and see. Upstream, we actually are doing a little bit better, which is fairly rare. But definitely you can see the pattern has changed already. That easterly flow will be giving way to southeasterly flows tonight through Thursday. And we'll finish up with that spinner. Here's New Zealand here. Here's that source for next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Alrighty, then we'll finish up on the north pack. You can see some of the winds bringing in some north-northwest angle, and that'll be for a Saturday. And some north swell mixing in Saturday as well, veering northeast. Low pressure. This is former Typhoon Dolphin spinning out here. At this point, it's already brought us our swell. And one last look down under, we can see lots of energy in the southern hemisphere and tons more to follow. And that is the local swell tracker. We'll catch you back here next weekend. Until then, happy surfing.